Welcome to the Quest Forums channel. I've been reading a book lately, this one here, Theistic Evolution, and it's very interesting. It's a discussion, a bunch of articles from people who are in the intelligent design movement. And so those are people who believe that God has guided the process of creation both in the universe and of life. And they're discussing the weaknesses of an alternative view within Christianity. Theistic evolution, the belief that God created all the matter in the universe, but then after he did that, he just left it all alone and allowed it to take an unguided process in which he cannot be observed working at all until life eventually developed on its own. And then after that, humanity developed, and at the point that humanity was ready, then God kind of comes back into the picture and shares how it's possible for us to have relationship with him. And so the book, again, it's very interesting. It describes a lot of the ways in which this idea of theistic evolution is wrong, and does so in some ways that are kind of over my head, especially in the first portion of the book, which is on the science behind intelligent design, and shows the weaknesses of evolutionary doctrine, of neo-Darwinism. So it does all of that and does very well, but there was one point that occurred to me that felt like it was kind of missing from the book. And so I thought it would be a good idea to share it as kind of a follow-up to it. Because looking at the definition, again, of theistic evolution, the idea that God created matter but then let it go, this kind of runs into a problem, a logical problem, when it comes to materialistic determinism. And I've spoken about this a couple times. It's the idea that all the matter in the universe, once it was caused, once it went into motion, that motion is inexorable. It just goes on and on and on, and things bounce off of one another. But if you know the angle that they hit off, then you know the angle that they're going to go on, and that there is no such thing as choice or freedom in the universe. Everything is just predetermined from the outset. And so the issue that you have there is, if that is true, and if that's what theistic evolution believes, then they believe that it's actually not random. The development of life was all predetermined by God and how he set everything in motion. And so in that case, if you think that you can see that God is the creator, if you think that there's evidence of that, then by definition, you're also saying that there's evidence that he's made everything to be exactly the way that it is. And so that flies in the face of their argument. An argument that they're making, as far as really can be told, so that they can be out of conflict with secularists who are in science. That seems to be the only thing that they want. It's not that there's really a strong argument for what they believe, because again, that book shows why there isn't. It's more that they just don't want to have that fight. But they're just running back into the same old problem, because they're saying that God is in control. Whether they think that they are or not, that's what they're doing. And so the people that they are attempting not to offend, they just ultimately will offend anyway. But then on top of that, they're giving away Orthodox Christian doctrine, because Christianity does not say that there's that type of determinism in the universe. Yes, God created all matter, he set it in motion, and it follows laws that he's established for it, and it follows those laws without breaking them. But God did also create moral law. He created us as creatures who are able to follow moral law, who are able to recognize the difference between right and wrong. And he gave us free will, the ability to break the moral law. When we do that, there are consequences, things that kind of follow outside of the normal course, because they are freely made. And so when you have that understanding, which is what Christianity possesses, then to say that everything is predetermined flies in the face of that, and it leaves you with a problem for theistic evolutionists, where they're kind of talking out of both sides of their mouth at the same time there. So that is one of the other major issues that I just didn't think that the book covered, and figured it was worth discussing here, just to point out the fact that they are arguing for God's total control and God's lack of control at the same time. It's pretty self-contradictory. So if you are at all interested in discussing that further, you maybe have some thoughts or follow-ups, or if you want some more clarification from me and you don't find it in the article that's in the description, feel free to leave anything that you want to say in the comments below. Thanks very much for checking out this video, and until next time, keep looking up.